And that truth is that it's never really over. You might have a test on a deadline. You might have just life goals on a deadline. You might have like just thoughts of that you're not going to be able to pull something off. And I'm here to let you know that I've literally been there, which is why I'm making this video, because it's never really over. You have until the very last second to put your all into something. And when pressure actually comes forward, that doesn't mean that you're going to allow pressure to make you retract from the goal. You actually can use pressure to your advantage, and you can use pressure to motivate you and to push you farther into where you want to go, like your goal or whatever task that you're doing. Even when it feels like you're going down to the very last second, you never have lost until you decide that you lose. You do not lose until you decide, hey, I lost. Only you get to call when you lose. So if you are tired of losing, stop letting yourself lose. And I wanted to tell a story. I have a few notes here, but there have been plenty of times in my life where I felt like the time crunch crushed me and I just couldn't get to a certain goal. And so there was times in high school, in college, and right now, like in high school, I would have times where I literally had a C in a math class, which is crazy, right? Because I love math now. That's probably why I love math now. But I loved the subject, but it was just a lot of content. And so I was having a very hard time juggling studying everything and also like trying to be effective in all my other courses, etc. And so my math class fell behind. And I had a C, but I was not taking the C. Like I needed to have my grades be what they always are, straight A's, and I graduated magna cum laude from high school. I was like, that was my mindset. And so I literally turned a C around to a literally when the school semester was ending because I put in so much effort and I didn't let the fact that the school semester was ending take me out. There was a time in college where I was like often writing lab reports or doing classwork and just feeling like, oh my gosh, like I'm tired. I've been in school all day. I'd rather relax. It's 11:55 and I still have 5 more questions to go and I need to do this. And you can actually, what I was doing actually was using the fact that it was close to the deadline as a reason to give up, which is insane because giving up on your goal when the deadline hasn't hit means that you are now taking all the control away from you and your goals and the things you want to do, and you're placing all the power on the thing, on the assignment, on the test, on the whatever goal you have. And that is not how life works. Like I said, you get to call when you lose. You get to call it, right? So I could have sat up and said, it's 11:59, the deadline is in 4 minutes at, oh well, it's 11:55, the deadline's in 4 minutes at 11:59. I might as well just give up. I might as well just take the L. I can. And then you start to strategize, right? This is where the pain actually comes from, because it's not that you failed already, it's that you're like, well, I could just go email the teacher tomorrow and ask for an extension, or I can just take the L and do better on the next assignment. Like I would literally have times where I would literally have an assignment due and then I would stop the assignment and start working on the next one because I knew that, like, okay, I can't finish that one, but at least I can get a head start on the next. And that is not how life works. I had to learn that the hard way. You get to call when you lose. So up until 11:59, I'm going to be putting my all into it. And I literally never had a time where I was working on something, the deadline was closed, and I wasn't able to turn it in and still graduate with all A's. It just doesn't exist, because when you put all your effort into something and you're not letting circumstances around you control what you're going to do, I could have let the time constraint pressure me into not finishing what I need to finish. Or I could have just let the fact that I had an assignment due and I felt like I was being lazy and I felt so bad because, like, why am I doing my assignment in the last 4 minutes and putting all this shame and blame and guilt onto a situation that didn't need to happen. It does need to happen. And then so that's high school and college. And now I have different personal goals. This channel is one of them. And I have plenty of times where I'm like, you know what? I could just be doing this instead, or I could be doing that instead. And I have to remember the big picture of the things that I want to do. Like I have to make sure that I'm not letting my circumstances control what I actually do in my everyday life, because you have to ignore doubt and ignore distractions to get your desire, period. You cannot feed into everything that's happened in the past and then also think that you're going to you're not going to be able to feed into everything that's happened in the past and then also at the same time get what you want. What? It just doesn't happen. So thank you to you guys who are subscribing to my channel. I always see people who are subscribing like while I'm on live, and I really appreciate that. Because I just love you guys. I literally love you guys. And yeah, so you have to ignore the circumstances. If I were to give you one thing to take away, right? If I wanted to give you one thing to take away, it would be the circumstances, as in everything that's happened in the past, everything that has already played out, everything you've already seen, everything you've already dealt with, everything you've already endured doesn't matter. And so to some people, me included, like in the past, I would often say, well, you know, everything that I have done in the past, like, you want to make it matter. You want to make your circumstances matter because it makes you feel good. It's like, okay, well, at least I know I have all these things that have put against me, and it just feels better to know that you're doing something for a reward. But what if we just erased everything that started today? What if everything, well, yeah, everything so far, like everything today up until like 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, let's erase everything that we've ever talked about, done, acted like, behaved like, any of our circumstances, any of the past. We erase all of it and we just start new. That's literally a possibility. But for a lot of us, we don't want to. We do that, it takes away all the things that we've endured and the fact that we want to be praised for all the things that we've gone through. And it's like, nobody's going to praise you for that. I appreciate all you guys who are subscribing. I can see the notifications coming down, so I really appreciate that. And I hope that this message is actually, you know, like when this pops up on my YouTube channel, in the live section, in about like after 5 minutes or so after this live ends, make sure to watch it from the beginning, because you are going to set goals for the rest of your life. You're going to have desires for the rest of your life. And it's in your best interest, if you're going to be constantly setting goals anyways, that you know how to actually achieve them. And you have to be able to achieve them by ignoring your circumstances and leaning into your actual desire that you want to have. And so every second matters, okay? If you really think about it, I don't know much about sports, so I'm not going to go there. But there's like a shot clock or something like that in basketball or one of the sports, and the time's ticking down and it's making this like 5, 4, like everybody in the crowd is sweating bullets. The people on the court, the players, are going rambunctious. The coaches are yelling and screaming and sliding from left to right. Everybody's up in arms about this pressure, but every single last second is no different than the starting seconds of the game. They just so happen to be at the end of the game, so we feel this uprise of pressure, but it's not. It's just more seconds. And then when the game is over, the game is over. And I would love if you could take with you through this video that the time that you think that you have, the deadline you think you have, the time you think you're running out of, doesn't really exist. The shot clock is just a clock. And when it starts on 30 minutes and it's ticking down, there's no pressure, because you're like, oh, well, I have 30 minutes, and it's ticking down. You're like, oh, I have 15 minutes. And like, even for me, when I was in school, you would take a test and the teacher puts it on an hour, 30 minutes timer on the board, on the whiteboard or whatever, like projects it on the whiteboard so it can tick down. You might already be finished with the test, but as soon as it starts like clicking down 10 minutes, 5 minutes, like, you start feeling a pressure for no reason. That's human nature. That's not actually you being scared about something or you not being able to do something. And so every single second counts. Use every single second. Go down to the very last second fighting for whatever you want to do. And then it also comes down to, like, right now in my life where I have goals that have certain deadlines. I put deadlines, like dates, on certain things, and some things I just don't. But there are things that I put deadlines on. And when I put a deadline on something, it could be down to like the last few days, the last week, the last 7 days. I don't care. I'm going to continue to go towards my goals because that is what I'm supposed to do. That is the mindset that I have as far as being able to achieve my goals. And so if you want to be a person that's able to ignore circumstances, ignore distractions, ignore your reality, ignore all the stuff that's happened in the past, stop using that stuff as a reason to feed into your lack and feed into the fact that you're not good enough and feed into all these bad things you don't even want, you have to be able to understand that time really isn't real. The time that's ticking down is the same seconds as the seconds that were taken at the beginning. It's just the fact of this illusion of something ending and the deadline coming is why we crumble under pressure. But it doesn't exist. And I think that, off topic, not in the notes, but when you're working a 9 to 5 job, everything you do is based on time. You show up at a certain time, your lunch is a certain time, you get paid at a certain time, you leave at a certain time, you arrive at a certain time. You do everything on a certain time. Everything is based on time. So when you're living your life 30 days at a time, literally 30-day blocks at a time, it's really, really difficult to live your life otherwise. It's really difficult to live your life 30 days at a time, like, because you're literally looking at life in 30-day blocks. That is not actual life. When you actually don't have a 9 to 5 and you start to live your regular life and you're like a year into it or a few years into it, you're going to realize the time that I think that like the world operated on while I was in a 9 to 5 doesn't exist. It does not exist. The time doesn't exist because the months run into each other. And the thing about it is when you have a 9 to 5, you're never really living those 30 days at a time, but we try to do that because that's what everything is kind of like mapped out to be. But your pay is never stretched across the 2 weeks perfectly how you want it to. You never have the right amount of money or the things you need in the 30-day span that you think you need. So we try to fit everything into this 30-day window, and it doesn't exist like that. It doesn't even exist like that in a job, but we still try to do it. But then when you're not in a job, you really don't have any reason to still try to keep that illusion, which is why I'm explaining it that way. But you're going to notice the first of the month is no different than the end of the month. The second week of the month is no different than the third. The beginning of the year is no different than the end. The middle of the year is no different than the last quarter. All of it's just time, and none of it really exists. None of it is really on a deadline. The difference between July and August is no different. The difference between October and November is no different. The difference between December 31st and January 1st is 60 seconds, and then it flips. But it's the same thing. There's really nothing changing. And so when you live your life thinking that all these deadlines and times and circumstances and deadlines and all these things are real, it's really hard to ignore your distractions. But I really want you to know, I really, really, really want you to know, it doesn't have to exist like that for you because it's not even helpful to live like that. It's not. So let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about. If you haven't watched the video I posted yesterday, it's in my live section. It's a video about voting for your future. You really need to watch that video. That video will help you understand this. I recommend even watching that one first and coming back and watching this one again because they're really going to help you to watch them at the same time. But yeah, basically when time feels like it's over, don't let the illusion of time suck you back into feeling bad about yourself or feeling like you need to prove something for all the time and energy you spent. Literally go forward, acting like nothing has happened in the past, and go for what you want. Continue going for it. And what I'm saying is that, like, even in the last quarter of the game, when it's ticking down 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds, those seconds don't need to matter to you as in pressure. They just need to be like, that's just what they are. 10 seconds left. Okay, cool. Play like it's the first 10 seconds of the game and you're probably going to win. You only lose when you act like you're in the last quarter because you're under the illusion that you're in the last quarter of the game. You don't have to actually live like that. You can just live like a regular person. So, that is the video for today. Make sure to watch the video from yesterday. It's very, very helpful. And it gives a quote by Anne Lape. and it's a very deep video. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you to everyone that subscribed, and make sure that make sure to click like on this video, so that, it can be spread around by YouTube and whatever their algorithm thing is, and make sure to subscribe so you don't